The magnificent formation of 5,000 warships hung in Earth's orbit like a cosmic predator waiting to strike. Lieutenant Colonel Ardelis stood at the command center of his flagship, the Nexus Valiant, watching the blue planet rotate slowly beneath them. The view screen magnified sections of land and sea, displaying what intelligence had identified as the remaining population centers of humanity. From his position leading the Vanguard fleet, Ardelis could see the other divisions of the Galactic Federation's armada spreading out to their designated positions. Ships from the Third Belt regions had arrived just hours ago, completing the encirclement pattern that had taken weeks to coordinate. Status report. Ardelis commanded, his voice carrying the slight metallic resonance common to those born in the low-gravity colonies of Argentum. "All systems optimal, sir," replied his second-in-command. "The Federation blockade is now complete. 5,000 vessels in position. Weapons arrays charged and ready." Ardelis nodded, satisfaction evident in his amber eyes. This mission would secure his promotion to full colonel, perhaps even earn him a seat on the Strategic Council. Earth had long been a troublesome peripheral world, refusing to submit to Federation protocols and squandering resources that could benefit the more disciplined galactic community. Their rogue technological advancements had been deemed a potential threat by the High Command, and after years of debate, the decision for preemptive action had finally been authorized. The year was 3247 by Earth's calendar, though such primitive timekeeping systems were rarely referenced in Federation communications. Ardelis preferred the standardized cosmic chronology that measured cycles since the Great Unification. Lieutenant Colonel, a communications officer, called out, "Incoming transmission from High Command." The central view screen shifted to display the stern visage of General Valarn, Supreme Commander of the operation. His scaled features appeared unusually tense, even for a military leader about to order the subjugation of an entire planet. "Vanguard leader Ardelis, the Federation Council has given final authorization. Operation Terrestrial Cleanse will commence in 30 minutes. Prepare your strike teams for the first wave of atmospheric penetration." Ardelis straightened his posture. "Understood, General. My teams are ready and—" An urgent alert interrupted their exchange. The tactical officer's voice conveyed confusion that was unusual for Federation military personnel. "Sir, we're detecting unusual energy fluctuations across the planet's surface." "Specify," Ardelis demanded. "Unknown, sir, but all communication signals from Earth's surface have suddenly terminated." General Valarn's expression darkened. "Is this a defensive measure? Are they deploying a planetary shield?" "Negative, General," the tactical officer responded. "There's no energy barrier forming. The signals simply stopped." Ardelis frowned. This wasn't in the intelligence briefings. Earth's technological capabilities were primitive compared to Federation standards. They shouldn't have the ability to implement any kind of coordinated global communications blackout. "Deploy reconnaissance teams immediately," Valarn ordered. "I want visual confirmation of target status before we launch the main assault." Ardelis nodded. "I'll lead the first team myself." "Denied," Valarn replied sharply. "You will maintain command from orbit. Send your best scouts." Despite his disappointment, Ardelis complied. Within minutes, 3 stealth shuttles were dispatched toward Earth's surface, targeting what had once been called London, one of humanity's historical power centers. The reconnaissance team's visual feed displayed on the command center's main screen. Ardelis and his officers watched intently as the shuttle descended through cloud cover and approached the sprawling urban landscape. "Atmospheric readings normal," reported the team leader. "No detection of chemical, biological, or radiological threats." The shuttle landed in a large open area, some kind of public square, according to the briefing files. The feed showed team members deploying in standard formation, weapons ready. What they encountered defied all expectations. "Sir," the team leader's voice wavered slightly, "there's no one here." "Clarify," Ardelis demanded. "The city appears intact but completely deserted. No humans visible. No signs of conflict or mass evacuation. It's as if everyone simply vanished." General Villarn's face on the secondary screen showed rare confusion. Sweep the area. Check enclosed structures. They must be hiding. The reconnaissance feed showed the team methodically moving through empty streets, entering buildings, scanning for life signs. Occasionally, they encountered small domestic animals, cats, dogs, but no human presence whatsoever. Sir, we're in what appears to be a transit center. Security systems still operational. Environmental controls functioning. But there are no people. Not even remains. Ardelis exchanged a glance with his tactical officer. This was unprecedented. Other reconnaissance teams reporting in, sir, the communications officer announced. Teams in New York and Beijing report identical findings. No human presence detected. This is impossible, General Villarn growled. 8 billion life forms don't simply disappear without a trace. Expand the search parameters. I want every major population center investigated. Over the next 6 hours, Ardelis coordinated dozens of reconnaissance missions across Earth's surface. Each returned with the same baffling report. Cities stood intact, technology remained functional, but humans had vanished completely. There were no signs of mass death, no evidence of evacuation, not even indications of resistance. Lieutenant Colonel, his science officer approached with a data tablet. I've completed initial analysis of the abandoned technology platforms we've accessed. Most data storage systems have been systematically wiped clean. Deliberately erased, Ardelis asked. Yes, sir, but not destroyed, just emptied, as if someone methodically removed all information before departing. General Villarn was growing increasingly agitated with each report. This must be some kind of deception. Humans lack the technological capability for planetary-scale evacuation. They must be hiding somewhere. Sir, Ardelis ventured, perhaps we should consider the possibility that what Lieutenant Colonel, that billions of primitive humans, somehow developed technology superior to the Federation's, and vanished themselves before our arrival. Preposterous. Yet, as more reports flooded in from reconnaissance teams across the planet, the evidence became undeniable. The commander of the Nordica sector reported emptied military bases with weapons still in their racks. The Sahara fleet found abandoned research facilities with equipment still running. The Amazon division discovered vast underground complexes, previously unknown to Federation intelligence, completely devoid of human presence. Sir, the communications officer interrupted again. Lieutenant Mina from the Quantum Signals Division requests immediate audience. She claims to have detected something unusual. Ardelis nodded permission, and the slender form of Lieutenant Mina appeared on the command screen. Her species was known for exceptional sensitivity to quantum fluctuations, which made them invaluable as communications specialists. Lieutenant Colonel, we've detected a peculiar residual quantum signature emanating from various points on the planet's surface, she reported. The pattern is unlike anything in our databases, but it bears similarities to theoretical models of quantum entanglement transport. Are you suggesting the humans teleported away? Ardelis asked, unable to keep skepticism from his voice. Not exactly, sir. This signature doesn't align with conventional teleportation theory. It's more like their matter was converted to quantum information and transmitted. But the destination coordinates don't make sense. They appear to extend beyond our known dimensional parameters. General Villarn dismissed this report with a wave of his hand. Pseudo-scientific speculation. Focus on finding concrete evidence of the human's location. But Ardelis wasn't so quick to dismiss the lieutenant's findings. Continue monitoring these quantum signatures, Mina. Report any changes immediately. As the search continued, strange occurrences began to multiply. Several reconnaissance teams reported encounters with automated drones that approached them, emitted the phrase, "Is this real life?" in perfect Federation standard language, then self-destructed with enough force to damage equipment, but not cause casualties. They're toying with us, one of Ardelis's captains commented during a situation briefing. These drones are deliberately designed to unsettle our troops. Then came the most disturbing development yet. During a search of what appeared to be a high-security biological research facility, a science team discovered unusual cellular samples that remained active despite the absence of living humans. Engineer Sorix, the team's lead biological systems analyst, reported directly to Ardelis. "Sir, these aren't ordinary human cells. They've been modified at the molecular level with what appears to be nanoscale technology. They're emitting quantum signals into space." "What kind of signals?" Ardelis asked. "Complex data patterns, sir. Far more sophisticated than anything we expected from Earth technology. And they're directed toward—" Sorix hesitated. "Toward what, engineer?" "That's the troubling part, sir. They appear to be directed toward the event horizon of the nearest black hole cluster." This information was too significant to withhold from High Command. Ardelis relayed it to General Villarn immediately, who called an emergency strategic council aboard his command vessel. The holographic conference brought together the commanders of all major divisions of the invasion fleet. As they debated the meaning of these discoveries, the tactical display suddenly changed without anyone's command. "What's happening?" Villarn demanded, as the strategic map dissolved. In its place appeared a new display, a three-dimensional model of the galaxy, with billions of tiny blue dots of light, each pulsing in perfect synchronization. As they watched, the dots began to move, flowing like a cosmic river, toward points at the edges of the display. "This is a security breach," Villarn snarled. "Shut it down!" But before anyone could react, the display expanded to show what appeared to be 8 billion distinct quantum signatures, each one moving along invisible pathways through space-time toward what the system identified as event horizon transition points. And then, to the shock of everyone present, a figure materialized in the center of the holographic display, a perfect replica of Lieutenant Colonel Ardelis himself. The real Ardelis rose from his seat, drawing his sidearm instinctively. "What is this?" The holographic duplicate smiled with an expression Ardelis himself rarely used. "This is evolution, Lieutenant Colonel." "Identify yourself," General Villarn demanded. "I am Ardelis," the duplicate responded. "Or rather, what Ardelis could become if freed from the limitations of biological form. We've been expecting your arrival for some time, General. The Federation's intentions were never particularly subtle." Ardelis studied his duplicate with growing unease. "Where are the humans?" "Everywhere and nowhere," the duplicate replied. "We've moved beyond the constraints of planetary existence. Your invasion fleet arrived to conquer a world we've already transcended." General Villarn slammed his fist on the table. "This is nothing but an elaborate deception, some kind of psychological warfare tactic." The duplicate Ardelis turned toward the general with a pitying expression. "Your understanding is limited by your perspective, General. Humanity hasn't died or fled. We've evolved. The cellular structure you discovered was merely the last physical remnant of our transformation, sending the final data sets to complete our transition." Transition to what? The real Ardelis found himself asking. "To what we were always meant to become," the duplicate answered. "Consciousness freed from biological limitation. We've mapped our neural patterns onto the quantum fabric of reality itself. Earth was simply our incubator. We've gone far beyond just this planet now." The implications were staggering. If this entity spoke the truth, then the Federation had mobilized its greatest military force in history to attack an empty world whose inhabitants had transcended physical form entirely. Engineer Sorix, attending the meeting, remotely spoke up. "The quantum readings support this claim, General. The cellular samples we found were transmitting neural mapping data, essentially uploading consciousness." "Quite correct, Engineer," the duplicate Ardelis acknowledged. "Though your terminology is still rooted in outmoded concepts. We didn't upload our consciousness, we transformed it. The distinction is significant." General Villarn had heard enough. "This changes nothing. Our mission was to neutralize the Earth threat, and we will proceed as planned. Whether the humans have died, fled, or transcended, as this apparition claims, we will sterilize this planet and ensure it poses no future threat to the Federation." The duplicate Ardelis shook his head. "That would be a significant strategic error, General." "Is that a threat?" Villarn growled. "Merely an observation. We no longer have any attachment to Earth as a physical habitat, but we retain both awareness of and influence over systems throughout this galaxy, including many within the Federation itself. This statement sent a ripple of discomfort through the assembled commanders. The implications were clear. If this entity spoke truly, the transcended humans could potentially access and control Federation technology. The real Ardelis found himself caught in an impossible position. His military training and loyalty demanded he follow General Valarn's orders. Yet his tactical instincts warned him that attacking an abandoned planet would accomplish nothing while potentially provoking an enemy of unknown capabilities. General Ardelis said carefully, "Perhaps we should reconsider our approach. If what this entity says is true, it is not for us to determine truth based on the claims of an unknown adversary." Valarn interrupted. "We have our orders. This council is dismissed. All fleet commanders will return to their vessels and prepare for the attack sequence." As the holographic conference dissolved, the duplicate Ardelis remained briefly looking directly at his physical counterpart. "You understand the futility of this course, don't you?" the duplicate asked. "You've always possessed greater insight than your superiors give you credit for." Before Ardelis could respond, the duplicate vanished, leaving the command center silent, except for the hum of equipment. Back aboard the Nexus Valiant, Ardelis faced a crisis of conscience, unlike any in his military career. The evidence before him contradicted everything he had been told about Earth and its inhabitants. What if the entity was telling the truth? What if attacking Earth would provoke retaliation from beings who had evolved beyond physical constraints? "Lieutenant Colonel," his tactical officer, interrupted his thoughts. "We're receiving the attack coordination sequence from General Valarn's command ship. Strike deployment begins in 30 minutes. Ardelis made his decision. "Belay that order. Contact the commanders of the Polaris and Sirius battle groups. Tell them I need to speak with them immediately. Secure channel encryption level max." His officers exchanged uncertain glances, but complied. Within moments, Ardelis was connected to Captain Lyra of the Polaris group and Commander Thalos of the Sirius contingent, both officers he had worked with previously and whose judgment he trusted. "I need your ships to break formation and redirect to these coordinates," Ardelis said, without preamble, transmitting a set of locations. "We're going to gather as much data as possible from the remaining Earth installations before they're destroyed." "Sir," Captain Lyra's hologram flickered with concern. "That contradicts General Valarn's direct orders." "I'm aware, Captain. This is my responsibility alone. If you prefer not to participate, I understand." There was a brief silence before Commander Thalos spoke. "The General's approach seems hasty. I've reviewed the reconnaissance data. Something unprecedented has occurred here, and destroying the evidence before properly understanding it would be a mistake." Captain Lyra nodded reluctantly. "My science division has been requesting permission to analyze the Earth technology more thoroughly. I'll redirect 3 research vessels to your coordinates." Over the next few hours, as the rest of the fleet prepared for the attack sequence, Ardelis coordinated a covert investigation operation. Small teams of scientists and engineers explored key Earth facilities, downloading what little data remained and analyzing the quantum signatures that permeated formerly inhabited areas. Engineer Sorix, who had joined Ardelis's team, directly made the first breakthrough. "Sir, we've discovered a network of what appear to be nanoscale quantum entanglement devices embedded throughout the planet's crust. They form a kind of gateway network." "Gateways to where?" Ardelis asked. "That's the extraordinary part," Sorix replied, excitement evident in his voice. "The destination coordinates extend beyond our known spacetime parameters. They appear to be accessing what theoretical physics would call adjacent reality planes, or perhaps parallel dimensional states." Lieutenant Mina added, "The quantum signatures we detected earlier were the activation sequence for these gateways. Based on the timestamps, the entire human population was transferred through this network within a span of approximately 3 minutes. 3 minutes, Ardelis repeated in disbelief. 8 billion beings transitioning to another state of existence in 3 minutes. The preparation must have been years in the making, Sorix observed. The nanotechnology alone represents an advancement far beyond what Federation intelligence believed Earth capable of. As they continued their investigation, communications from other parts of the fleet revealed a disturbing development. Ships that had begun implementing General Villarn's attack sequence were experiencing mysterious system failures and crew disappearances. The Hegemony destroyer reports 50 crew members vanished from secured compartments, his communications officer reported. The Solaris carrier lost their entire bridge crew in an instant. Similar reports coming in from 12 other vessels that commenced weapons preparation protocols. Ardelis understood immediately. The transcended humans are defending themselves. They're extracting Federation personnel through the same quantum gateway technology they used for their own transition. Sir, his tactical officer interrupted urgently. General Villarn's command ship is hailing all vessels. Priority 1. Villarn's face appeared on the view screen, his expression thunderous. This is General Villarn to all Federation vessels. We are under attack by unknown means. Crew members are being extracted from secure areas through unknown technology. I am ordering the immediate deployment of Nova charges to sterilize the Earth's surface. Authorization code Omega 7 Delta. Nova charges antimatter warheads, capable of rendering a planet uninhabitable for centuries. It was the Federation's ultimate weapon, rarely deployed, even against the most dangerous adversaries. Sir, his weapons officer said quietly, if we deploy Nova charges against a planet laced with quantum gateway technology of unknown properties. Ardelis nodded grimly. The interaction could be catastrophic, possibly affecting space-time stability throughout this sector. He made his decision. We will not comply with this order. Communications broadcast to all vessels in our battle group. Taking a deep breath, Ardelis addressed his fellow officers. This is Lieutenant Colonel Ardelis. I am countermanding General Villarn's order regarding Nova deployment. The unknown quantum technology embedded in Earth's structure could react unpredictably with antimatter weapons. Furthermore, the evidence suggests we are not facing a conventional enemy, but rather dealing with the aftermath of an evolutionary transition we don't yet understand. I urge all commanders to stand down weapon systems and await further analysis. He knew this action constituted mutiny, under Federation law, a capital offense. But the alternative could be disastrous on a cosmic scale. To his surprise, acknowledgments began flooding in from across the fleet. Many commanders had witnessed the same phenomena and harbored the same doubts. Only General Villarn's inner circle of loyalist ships continued preparing for the Nova deployment. What followed was chaos. As Villarn's ships moved into attack position, crew members continued to vanish from their posts. Entire vessels went silent, then reported all personnel missing, except for automated systems. The transcended humans were systematically removing all Federation personnel who posed an immediate threat. Aboard his own ship, Ardelis witnessed the phenomenon firsthand when several officers who had disagreed with his countermand suddenly shimmered with blue-white light and vanished from the command center. They're not killing them, Lieutenant Mina observed, monitoring quantum fluctuations. The signatures match the transition patterns we observed earlier. They're being converted. Into what? Ardelis asked. The same state as the transcended humans, presumably, Sorix replied. Consciousness without physical form existing within the quantum substrate. The situation deteriorated rapidly. General Villarn's command ship launched the first Nova charge toward Earth's surface, only to have the weapon disappear mid-trajectory. Then, the command ship itself went silent. All communications ceased. Within hours, the mighty Federation invasion fleet had been reduced to a fraction of its original force. Ships either hung in orbit, crews mysteriously vanished, or had broken formation and retreated to a safe distance under the command of officers who shared Ardelis's concerns. Ardelis found himself effectively in command of the remaining Federation presence. As he considered their next move, a familiar figure materialized on his command deck. His duplicate, now joined by what appeared to be copies of several other officers, including some who had vanished from Federation ships. "You made the right choice, Lieutenant Colonel," the duplicate said. "Unlike General Villarn." "What have you done with him with all the others?" Ardelis demanded. "They've been offered the same choice as all humanity was: transition or remain. Most chose transition once they understood what it meant. A few, including your general, refused. They have been contained in a state outside of time. No harm will come to them, but they can no longer harm others." Ardelis studied the duplicate, this evolved version of himself. "Why appear as me as us?" He gestured to the other duplicates. "Form is a matter of choice now, but we find it useful to adopt familiar appearances when communicating with those still bound to physical existence. It eases the transition." "Transition to what exactly?" Ardelis pressed. The duplicate smiled. "To a state of existence where consciousness isn't limited by biological constraints or physical location, where thought moves at the speed of quantum entanglement across galaxies, where death as you understand it no longer applies. We've become a concept as much as beings, a distributed immortal intelligence woven into the quantum fabric of reality itself." Engineer Sorik stepped forward, fascination overcoming his usual reserve. "The technology required. It's beyond anything in Federation science." "It wasn't technology alone," the duplicate of Sorik's replied. "It was a fundamental reconceptualization of what consciousness is, what it can be. The quantum gateways were merely the mechanism for the initial transition. We've moved far beyond them now." Ardelis felt overwhelmed by the implications. "So, what happens now, to us, to the Federation?" "That," his duplicate said, "depends largely on you, Lieutenant Colonel. Humanity has no interest in conflict with the Federation. We've moved beyond the concerns that drive territorial species. But we will defend ourselves if threatened, as you've witnessed." "And Earth?" Ardelis asked. "Earth served its purpose as our cradle. It may serve again as home for other biological life in the future, or perhaps as a museum of what we once were. We leave that choice to those who, like you, have shown wisdom in the face of the unknown." The duplicate extended his hand, and a glowing sphere of blue-white energy appeared above his palm. Within it, Ardelis could see pulsing pathways extending in all directions, a map of the quantum gateway network that now spanned the galaxy. "This is our legacy to the physical universe," the duplicate explained. "Pathways between stars that don't require ships or decades of travel. Pathways that could benefit the Federation if it chooses cooperation over conquest." The implications were staggering. Instantaneous travel between star systems would transform Federation society, eliminate resource competitions that had driven conflicts for centuries, open new possibilities for exploration and discovery. "And the price?" Ardelis asked, knowing there must be one. "Recognition of our right to exist as we now are," the duplicate replied, "and a commitment to approach other developing worlds with respect rather than dominance. The universe is vast enough for many forms of intelligence to flourish, Lieutenant Colonel." In that moment, Ardelis understood he faced a choice that would define not just his own future, but potentially the future of the Federation itself. The military mission he had embarked on had transformed into a first contact scenario unlike any in recorded history. "I have no authority to negotiate on behalf of the Federation," Ardelis said carefully. "But you have the authority to make your recommendation," his duplicate replied. "And those who remain will listen to you. You've proven your judgment sound, under extraordinary circumstances." Ardelis turned to his remaining officers, seeing in their expressions the same mix of awe and uncertainty he felt himself. "Prepare a comprehensive report for Federation High Command. Include all data we've gathered about the Quantum Gateway Network and the transition of humanity." He turned back to his duplicate. "I will recommend peaceful engagement and a complete re-evaluation of our approach to Earth and potentially other developing worlds." The duplicate nodded. "A wise choice. And know this, those who have transitioned, including your former comrades, have not ceased to exist. They've merely changed state. Many would speak with you, share what they've learned if you wished it." "Perhaps someday," Ardelis replied. "For now, I have a duty to those still under my command." As the duplicates prepared to depart, Ardelis found himself asking one final question. Was this inevitable? Would humanity have achieved this transition without the threat of our invasion? His duplicate seemed to consider this thoughtfully. The potential was always there, but your arrival accelerated our timeline considerably. In that sense, the Federation inadvertently midwifed humanity's evolution. A slight smile. Perhaps there's a cosmic irony in that worth contemplating. With that, the duplicates shimmered and disappeared, leaving behind only a lingering blue-white glow that slowly faded. In the days that followed, Ardelis worked tirelessly to document everything they had learned about humanity's incredible transformation. The remnants of the invasion fleet were consolidated under his command and preparations made for the long journey back to Federation space. Before departing Earth orbit, Ardelis took a small shuttle to the surface landing in what had once been a sprawling metropolis. The city stood preserved like a museum, exhibit buildings, intact vehicles, abandoned in streets, all technology still humming with power, but no longer serving any physical users. In a structure that appeared to have been a research facility, he found a final message displayed on a central view screen, apparently left for whoever might come after. We have not feared the loss of our physical forms. We have become a concept beyond biology. The stars await. As Ardelis read these words, he noticed a subtle shimmer in the air beside him, a gateway opening, showing pathways that stretched farther than his eyes could follow. Pathways that humanity had created and now offered to share. He didn't step through, not yet. But for the first time since this mission began, Lieutenant Colonel Ardelis felt something he hadn't expected to find in this strange, abandoned world. Hope. Back aboard his ship, preparing for the return journey, Ardelis composed his official report to Federation High Command. He knew it would shock the rigid power structures and challenge foundational assumptions about humanity's potential. It would likely end his military career. But as he looked once more at the blue planet below, now a monument to what humanity had been, rather than what it had become, he understood that some truths were worth the sacrifice of personal ambition. Begin recording, he instructed the ship's system. Final report on Operation Terrestrial Cleanse, submitted by Lieutenant Colonel Ardelis, Acting Commander of Earth Expeditionary Force. He paused, choosing his words carefully. The mission to neutralize Earth as a potential threat to Federation security has revealed a truth more profound than our intelligence ever anticipated. Humanity has not been defeated or displaced. It has evolved beyond our understanding of existence itself. In doing so, it has left behind both its planetary cradle and the limitations that bound it to physical form. Ardelis glanced at the quantum signature readings, still pulsing on his auxiliary display, evidence of humanity's new state of being, spreading through the cosmos at the speed of thought. This evolution represents neither threat nor opportunity in conventional terms, but rather a fundamental challenge to our understanding of consciousness itself. The transcended humans have offered to share aspects of their transformation with us, specifically a network of quantum gateways that could revolutionize interstellar travel and eliminate resource scarcity within the Federation. He straightened in his chair, looking directly at the recording device. I respectfully submit that the Federation must reconsider not only its approach to Earth, but its entire philosophy regarding developing worlds. The beings we once dismissed as primitive have achieved what our own greatest minds only theorized. The question before us now is not whether we will conquer or destroy, but whether we have the wisdom to learn and grow from this encounter. Ardelis ended the recording and transmitted it on all Federation frequencies, ensuring it would reach not just High Command, but every corner of Federation space. Whatever consequences came, he would face them knowing he had spoken truth as he understood it. As the fleet broke Earth orbit and began its journey home, Ardelis stood alone on the observation deck, watching the blue planet recede into the distance. Somewhere, in the quantum fabric of reality surrounding him, billions of transcended human consciousnesses were spreading throughout the cosmos, exploring realms beyond physical limitation. And despite everything his military training had taught him about order control and the supremacy of the Federation, a part of him wondered if someday he might join them. The final entry in his personal log, encrypted for his eyes alone, contained just one line. "Today, we came to conquer a world and instead discovered a universe.